Hey everyone, so it is Unit 3, Lesson 6, and today's lesson is comparing the religion of ancient Mesopotamia to the religion of ancient Egypt. So in the past lesson, we talked about the religion of ancient Egypt and the process of mummification. We were able to talk about the different ways that religion was practiced in this culture. So today we're going to be focusing on the differences and the similarities that can be found between the religious practices of ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, because these two cultural groups and these two civilizations are emerging and growing at the same time. We've seen that with some of their inventions and things and some of the concepts and practices with technology, but we're also going to see these similarities and differences within the religions as well, since they are happening around the same time. We're able to see how they did things similarly or differently. So first, let's review some of the key aspects of Mesopotamian religion. So they had priests that played an important role in society. They believed and practiced polytheism, so they believed in more than one god. They had many gods, but they had some that were considered to be the main ones with the main jobs. For example, in Sumeria, the Sumerians believed that there were four main gods who created the world and they ruled over everything, and then the other gods did other jobs. They believed that their gods looked and acted like real people. They believed that their gods controlled all things and had influence over what happened in the lives of the people. It was believed that the gods owned things like the land, which meant that when the Sumerians worked the land, they were working for the gods. And then throughout Mesopotamia, most did not believe in an afterlife, and if they did, it was not a happy one. For example, in Sumeria, they believed that their souls would go to the land of no return and just cease to exist. So they did not believe that there was a positive afterlife where people were going to continue another life after they passed. And then they worshipped their gods in buildings called ziggurats. So that's a picture of the ziggurat. So let's review some of the key aspects of Egyptian religion. So again, priests are a crucial part of society. They also practiced polytheism. They believed in thousands of gods, but most importantly, they had some of the key ones that controlled some of the big stuff, so like Ra, Osiris, Isis, and Anubis. Many of their gods and goddesses had the bodies of humans, but the heads of an animal, and typically the animal related to or represented what they were in charge of or what their powers and things focused on. So if they controlled the Nile, and that was their power to control water sources, then typically it was some kind of water creature like an alligator. And they believed that the gods controlled all things, so the weather and the natural world, human life, the spirit world, all of those places. The Egyptians believed in an afterlife, so they thought there was a positive and good afterlife after this one, and that they had to be good in the present life to get there. They created mummies to keep their bodies intact for their souls in the afterlife, and they built temples for their gods and made sure to honor the gods whenever possible. And then these are what some of their temples look like above in these pictures. So what are some of the similarities between the two places and their religions? So the big one is that they were both polytheistic. One of the big things that they had in common is that they were polytheistic, or they believed in and worshipped multiple gods and goddesses. So you can see in the picture here on top, those are Egyptian gods. These are Mesopotamian gods. There's more than one. They had different gods and goddesses that did different things, and they believed and worshipped multiple ones. Some other key similarities: priests were very important in their societies. Their gods and goddesses controlled all things, and they created different places to worship their gods and goddesses. So what are some key differences between the two? So the big one is that the Egyptians believed in an afterlife and the Mesopotamians didn't. So one of the big things that was different was that to the Egyptians, afterlife was a central belief. It was key, one of the big focuses of their religion that they believed in. They thought all of their things that they were doing in this life led to that afterlife. Mesopotamians didn't have this focus. They didn't think that there was an afterlife, or if they did, it wasn't a good one. So it wasn't really the same thing. They did not have that positive place that they thought they were going to go afterwards. They thought even if there was one, it was just kind of like the end. So there's not that positive afterlife being a focus. Egyptians, afterlife, big central thing. Mesopotamians, not a focus. And then another key difference is just what they created in order to worship and where they worshipped. So Mesopotamians created ziggurats, and then Egyptians created temples. So let's recap. The ancient Egyptian and ancient Mesopotamian religions have many similarities and differences. The big similarity is that they were both polytheistic, or they believed in and worshipped multiple gods and goddesses who controlled all things. And then the big difference is that the Egyptians had the afterlife as one of their key and central beliefs, and the Mesopotamians did not.